Hello, and welcome to this, the third sesquiennial presentation of the Learnie Awards. We gather here tonight to honor the brightest beacons of learning innovation that UAF has to offer. We acknowledge the Alaskan Native Nations upon whose ancestral lands our campuses reside. In Fairbanks, our Trothieta campus is located on the ancestral lands of the Dana people of the lower Tanana River. You might be asking yourself, who is this handsome bull? Well, I'm Learnie, the official host of tonight's awards ceremony. I'm here to shine a light on the creative, the resourceful, and the downright breathtaking variety of teaching and learning that takes place in our educational community. We have 2 Learnie Awards and 7 certificates of excellence we'll be awarding tonight, and I couldn't be any more excited to get started. Follow me to find out about our first winner. For our first category, we set our sights on instructors who can light up a room with their passion for a subject. The nominees are Tia Tidwell, History of Colonization in Alaska, The Indigenous Response; Daisy Huang, Engineering Videos; Rorik Peterson, Video Review Chapter 4; and Justin Cram, The Fundamentals of Archaeology. Our winner for Instructor Presence and Energy goes to Tia Tidwell. Her course, History of Colonization in Alaska, The Indigenous Response, is brimming with a passion that is apparent in every one of her videos. Congratulations, Tia.
And I loved looking at this painting when I saw it. And the first thing that I noticed about it is that this painting is very actively from the Kiksada perspective. Louis Glanzman is not Tlingit or Indigenous, but in this work of art, he is taking the perspective of the Kiksada people.
There are dozens and dozens of classrooms all over UAF, and while crucial to our campus, sometimes you need something more than chairs, desks, and a whiteboard to bring the subject you're teaching to life. The nominees for expanding the classroom are Climate Scholars Program, UAF Tidelines 2021, Kevin Huo and Nolan Ernest. Indigenous Peoples Day Content Creators Panel. Alaska Sustainable Energy Conference, Hydrogen in the High North, Decarbonizing Fuels Workshop. Ask a Lady Dog Musher, UAF Frame. This year's Expanding the Classroom Award goes to Kevin Huo and Nolan Ernest for Climate Scholars Program UAF Tidelines 2021. This project brings the viewer along to the Tidelines Institute for the first ever Climate Scholars Intensive. Sweeping drone footage and one-on-one interviews make viewers feel like we're right there alongside these Climate Scholars students.
I've really enjoyed harvesting local foods. That's something I've wanted to do more. There's a big culture in Alaska about subsistence, and I'm Alaska Native, I'm Yupik, and so my mom and her siblings grew up really intimately understanding the seasons and what grows and what can be taken at that time.
Now here's a subject near and dear to my heart, animation. As an animated, anthropomorphized light bulb, I can tell you firsthand that animation is no easy task. It took an army of animators and several $1 million just to animate me presenting this category alone. The nominees are Dragline Animation, Amanda Bird and Joseph Jackson; Zip Zap Animation, Tyson Paris Hansen; Jur, a wolf pup mummy from the Yukon, Matt Wooler; and 3 resource-efficient food alternatives for deep space missions, Naomi Hutchins. Our Most Effective Animation Award goes to Matt Wooler for Jur, a wolf pup mummy from the Yukon. This video uses a 3D scan of the wolf pup mummy that was made for research and uses it in a creative way to promote and describe the project. While these sorts of scans are often made in the course of research, using them in media is less common than you might suspect.
The oxygen isotope composition of habitats can be changed by climate, and in warmer interglacial conditions, that is very, very different to the oxygen isotope composition of glacial conditions or colder, drier conditions.
Learning about the world helps us see it from a whole new perspective. For example, I've never seen the museum from atop a whale before, but now that I have, I know that I prefer the view from the ground. The nominees for use of perspective are History of Sport, Cole McKeel; Ursa Summer Research Project, Patrick Marbacher; Ursa Project, Ocean Monitoring in Cake, Alaska, Talia Davis; and Mitigating Geohazards Along Infrastructure, Margaret Darrow. Our Use of Perspective Award goes to Patrick Marbacher for his Ursa Summer Research Project video. Recorded entirely from a first-person point of view, the viewer is put in the shoes of students doing research work at UAF.
The Ursa Summer Award allowed me to do my own research project here at UAF. Together with my mentor, I learned all the skills and lab techniques necessary to successfully complete my project. And overall, it was a great success and really valuable and interesting. I highly recommend that any undergraduate student is taking advantage of this great opportunity because it's something that you don't get by just sitting in a classroom.
It seems like every year there are dozens of new platforms or formats an instructor can use to communicate with their students and get more eyes on their subject. It can be hard to stay in the know, and even an educational luminary like myself can have a hard time keeping up. The nominees for the Remix Certificate are UAF Honors College, TikTok; UAF Music Department, TikTok; and 3-Minute Thesis, Beneath Arctic Sea Ice, Kelsey Frazier. Our Remix Award goes to the UAF Music Department. TikTok, a huge platform with snappy, short videos, has captured the eyes and ears of the internet, and the music department has been conducting fun, engaging videos that have been bringing them a lot of attention.
Opera singers cannot drink before a show. They shouldn't have any dairy. And tenors and sopranos, I better not say anything.
So we have to do lots of cardio if we're going to dance and sing at the same time.
We should not smoke.
Basses and baritones exist.
When we go for a high note and we have to support, I feel like passing out.
Cupcakes up.
The nerves never go away.
Is that our career is actually viable.
At their best, multimedia productions are multi-sided, inspiring audiences to reconsider, respond, and reconfigure their own messages and communication. Using visual and other sensory prompts and cues, these nominees for excellence in interactive media demonstrate the dynamic power of technology to build connections between us. The nominees for excellence in interactive media are Diane Wagner, PlayPosit Videos; Mario Muscarella, PlayPosit Videos; and Steffi Ickert-Bond, Virtual Greenhouse Tour. And the winner is Steffi Ickert-Bond for her Virtual Greenhouse Tour. Featuring still and 360-degree photography, this thorough exploration of UAF's greenhouses gets us a close-up look at the diverse plant population being studied at one of our most distinctive facilities. You can almost smell the soil. Some educators see limitations and scoff, and some don't see them at all. These most daring nominees reflect a tendency to go for it and say yes to questions like, is there another way to teach? Is there another way to learn? And is there another way to void this camera's warranty? The nominees for most daring are Inertia in Electrical Grids, Pebbles, Gwen Holdman; Mitigating Geohazards Along Infrastructure, Margaret Darrow; and 3-Minute Thesis, Beneath Arctic Sea Ice, Kelsey Frazier. Congratulations to Gwen Holdman and her video Inertia in Electrical Grids, Pebbles. You've proven that you don't mind getting a little messy to establish a visual metaphor for large and small power grids. As an avid fan of electricity myself, I appreciate all you do to keep that good stuff flowing.
It might have, one impact on a larger grid that can absorb that unexpected fluctuation in output. That exact same event could have a much larger and more significant impact to potentially that grid in terms of the power quality, and even the reliability of the system as a result of that event.
Did you know that less than 5% of the energy an incandescent light bulb uses is converted to light? That's why I got converted to LED a while back, so I can use less energy and stay green. It's hard to live in the Arctic without thinking about climate change, and our first Learnie Award recipient, the International Arctic Research Center, brings us the science behind it. Their edX course, Climate Change in Arctic Environments, features a wide variety of experts in the atmosphere, sea, land, and people of the Arctic, and effectively communicates the scale of the problems we face, which is no easy feat.
Climate change is impacting the Arctic more profoundly today than the rest of the world, warming our north 3 times faster than lower latitudes and shaping our glaciers, sea ice, and land in its wake.
I'm Rick Toman, climate specialist here at UAF's International Arctic Research Center.
And I'm John Walsh, a climate scientist at the International Arctic Research Center. And welcome to Climate Change in Arctic Environments.
A classic example of a climate feedback is the snow albedo feedback. Fresh snow is white and extremely effective at reflecting incoming solar energy back into space, giving it a high albedo. Albedo is another word for reflectiveness.
This pine tree is unusual for the Fairbanks area. Most of our conifers are spruces, but you can tell that this tree is tall and healthy and thriving here in Fairbanks in this warm location. We may see trees like this spreading across the interior as the temperature continues to warm. Without permafrost, soil decomposition speeds up, the soil becomes better drained, different species are able to take root that require deeper root systems.
So, as climate change changes the nature of the hazards, we change our spatial and temporal exposure. Susceptibility is perhaps the most complicated part of the vulnerability system. This comprises all of the different moving parts, the systems that make up a community. So this is your cultural systems. This is your economic systems, your physical systems, definitely.
I'm really proud and excited to accept the 2022 Learnie for the International Arctic Research Center's massive open online course, Climate Change in Arctic Environments. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who helped make this happen. It was a big team. So, of course, Rick Toman and John Walsh. They were both critical, as well as the support from all of IARC, both Hayo and Scott Rupp, as well as the participation of every single video subject matter expert who contributed their time and their expertise to this effort to make it amazing, and all of the organizations they worked for, both within IARC, across West Ridge here, and all of the folks outside of the university system, the federal agencies, the nonprofits, and the private companies who donated their time to make this a success. So thank you to every last one of them, and thank you as well to the whole eCampus team who are behind the scenes wrangling our footage and making this an incredibly successful course. We couldn't have done it without the support of every last one of those folks. So thank you all so much. And here's the 2022 Learnie for the IARC MOOC.
Our next Learnie goes to a video by Samantha Taylor called Beyond a Single Story. While this video isn't going to blow you away with its production values, it does an exemplary job telling us about a project shining a light on an important subject that impacts Alaska. Sometimes you don't need fancy cameras, hours of production, and slick editing to make a great video.
So the idea behind this project is that 60% of incarcerated women nationwide have experienced violence, and in some parts it can be as high as 94%. And specifically in Alaska, and in Fairbanks, it can be one of the most dangerous places for women. But in our experience, we find that it's majority of these stories aren't told by survivors, and we would like to change that. So through the creation of zines, which is what you see me making right now, we wanted to fill it with content from incarcerated women who are survivors. And then we plan on sharing these zines across the state. So this is with other jails, all 18 Alaska DB shelters, ANSVA in the CDBSA, and even the Fairbanks Courthouse.
Hi, thank you so much for this, Learnie. I'm so excited about this. I couldn't do it without Sarah, my mentor, and Stephanie, my co. Just making it, I just went with whatever my passion was, what I wanted to do, instead of going the easy route. And once it became good enough, I considered that was done. So I used free clip art. And I just thought it just helped me. I just thought it really embodied what I was trying to go for. It was just, so that's why I picked the turtles, and I just put tons and tons there as much as I could. I felt comfortable. I felt like my project was done once I was comfortable enough to show it to my mentors, Sarah and Stephanie, my co. And so that's how I came to the idea that it was complete and ready to put out into the world.
That does it for this night of instructional glitz and glamour. I don't know about you, but I learned about learning, and I hope I've taught a bit about teaching. UAF and Alaska at large represent marvelous communities of educators and students, and it's an honor to be able to highlight just some of the incredible things that take place here. I've been Learnie, and this has been the 2022 Learnie Awards. We'll see you all again in another 18 months.